Now, the Amazulu Royal Household finds itself embroiled in a succession dispute despite assurances that there would be no leadership vacuum. The first wife of King Goodwill Zwelithini, Queen Sibongile Dlamini, has approached the Pietermaritzburg High Court to challenge the execution of the late king's will, which names the successor. On the other hand, the king's daughters with Queen Dlamini are challenging the validity of his last will and testament, alleging that his signature was forged. Now, the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa, that's Contralesa, says these developments are embarrassing, and they've called for calm and dialogue to find a cultural solution to this impasse. We're joined now by Contralesa's president, Kgosi Mathupha Mokoena. Kgosi, it's great to have you with us on the show this morning. Thank you very much for your time. I want to begin our discussion to talk about, at the level of perception, how these feuds within the royal family is being perceived in the royal nation, the Zulu nation, when there are already questions around the need for monarchies around the world. What does this kind of succession feud do to that?
Good morning, Michelle. Indeed, it is so unfortunate that such a highly respected royalty in our country, even beyond, will find itself going through what they're going through now. Contralesa is so embarrassed that this royal family is a role model to all of us, senior traditional leaders and kings in the country. And the danger of what is going on now is that we might end up having a successor who has been appointed by cause of law, not by the royal family. And that will create a serious problem where the royal family might be split into two or even more groups. Contralesa is so worried. We are saying, where are the elders who are supposed to call to order those who are trying to undermine the protocols as dictated to by the customs and culture of this royal family? We just hope sense will prevail, that the people should go back to the drawing board and do what they do best in terms of identifying a successor. That's our call as Contralesa, because if this is not halted, Michelle, I can tell you, it's a cancer that may not be healed anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, if Contralesa feels this strongly about what's unfolding in the royal household, Kgosi, how do you reckon it's being perceived by members of the Zulu nation?
Indeed, there are those who are now celebrating because, as you are aware, there are some of the South Africans who look at the royalty as irrelevant in this democracy, forgetting that the Ubukhosi or the royalty was there before all governments came into being. Therefore, Contralesa, we are calling upon the elders to come into the space, because, Michelle, we are afraid that if indeed there are those who feel sidelined or who feel that they were not properly consulted, it is not stupid for the elders to say, we are sorry for this other royal family, that they were not consulted. Let's sit down and talk about this, because we are avoiding at all costs that the successor in this instance be appointed by the court of law. That's our plea as Contralesa, to say, may we please allow the normal processes to unfold instead of dragging each other to court. Michelle.
I mean, insofar as the succession discussion is concerned, even insofar as the late king's will is concerned, surely there are senior members of the royal family who would have witnessed the king signing that will, who would have been privy to the discussions around succession. So again, the question arises, as you've just outlined, why the need to approach the courts?
You see, Michelle, in the royal family, as a Kgosi Mokoena in the Mathibela Royal Council, there is no way I can sign a will as to who will be my successor. Culturally and customarily, that will never happen. I can only sign a will about my own property For example, if I've got cars, I've got the fields, I've got some houses and so on, I can write a will about those. But when it comes to a successor, there is no will in the royal family. It's only the inner royal family or the people who are assigned or identified to appoint or to identify a successor will do that. Now, the danger in other royal families, I don't know how it happens here, but there's no way in which I can sit down and draw a will and say, after I passed on, so-and-so will come into my position. It's never done like that in the royal family. And I'm not saying in this instance it's what happened, but I don't know whether the other members of the family were properly consulted. When they dragged this matter to court, apparently it seems as if something did not go right somewhere. I don't know who dropped the ball, but being as it may, we are saying it's not late yet for the royal family or the elders who are responsible in calling order to please bring everybody together. Say, let's forget about the past. If there are mistakes, let us correct them and move forward so that those who hate this institution, we don't arm them to talk bad about it, Michelle.
So, Jose, just explain to us, your understanding of Queen Sibongile Dlamini's claim in the courts. Among them, what she is claiming is a demand for 50% of the late King Goodwill Zwelithini's estate as well. I mean, can you explain that to us? Because in terms of his estate as king, it doesn't belong to him per se, does it? It belongs to the throne.
Michelle, I must tread very carefully here because the matter might end up being heard in court, as you rightly said. So I don't want to put myself into a position where I'll be quoted to say I sided with Group A or Group B. I'm sorry for calling them groups, but just for understanding by the public.
Yeah.
But what is supposed to happen here was that let's look as to why is this Ndlunkulu or the Queen feel aggrieved. Let's look at exactly what made her to decide to go to court. Because she might be right or she might be wrong. I don't want to get into that space. Hence, I'm saying Contralesa will not even want to say who is supposed to lead in this instance. But we're just calling for come to the family. There might be some other things, Michelle, that were not told that happened behind the scenes. What made the Queen to decide to take the matter to court.
Yeah.
Hence, I'm saying, I know the royal family, they are aware of what happened and what's supposed to be done. I want them to be brave enough to say, if they feel that they wronged the Queen, I'm using the word wrong for the lack of a better word. If they feel that there's something they did not do that might have caused the Queen to take this decision, it is not wrong, it is not stupid. It's not that you are a lame duck to say, Her Royal Highness, please come, let's stand and talk. I know she will understand. But the question, Michelle, is, are we still having elders who will call everybody to order? Who will say, I am saying the buck stop here. You can't do this, or please do this. I wonder if we're still having those people. Because we find that some are divided into those groups, some are that way, some are on the other side. But as Contralesa was saying, please, may we all come down. Let's have some order in the royal family. Yeah. We respect this royal family. May you please do us a favor so that this matter does not go to court.
I mean, Jose, I want to actually hone in on Contralesa's role in what's unfolding in the royal household at the moment. You know, as you say, you may not be privy to the discussions that most likely are taking place behind closed doors among senior members of the royal family. But is there a role for an organization like Contralesa to play, you know, face to face, to be a part of those kinds of discussions here?
Many of the royal families, when they find themselves in this situation, some of them will feel free to invite us to come into the space and advise wherever we can. But we can't impose ourselves to the royal family. But with the experience of members of Contralesa, for example, the chairperson of Contralesa in KZ and Inkosi Kiliza and his executive, and even members of the NEC, where I am serving with other members. Those who have vast experience, they know how to resolve issues when things are this way, because there's no way we'll allow a situation where a successor is to be appointed, where we allow courts to come into the space. That will be foreign to us, and will be allowing the royalty to be westernized, and which we are really against as Contralesa. We are saying, all of us, can we please go back to the drawing board and say, how was those kind of problems being resolved by those elders then? Let's use those methods, because as I said earlier on, Michelle, I mean, I can't be so big-headed as Hoshimukwena if I am told that I think here I missed the point or I dropped the ball.
Yeah.
It's only fair for me to say, yes, I'm sorry if you feel I did not consult you properly. Can we sit down and talk? I know people are people, they will understand, especially in the royal family. They'll agree to talk. But if people are saying no, to hell with whoever will meet at courts, that will be a sad day in the history of the Zulu nation and us as traditional leaders in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Contralesa President Hosi Matupa Mokoena, thank you very much for your time indeed, as we continue to try and unpack and understand the succession feud that is taking place in the Zulu royal household.